Euros is a proudly Western Australian firm focused on building long-term wealth for local businesses and families. Euros aim to provide clients with leading wealth creation solutions that encompasses proactive investment advice, financial planning and portfolio administration. Euros Securities Executive Director and passionate Freo fan Lucas Robinson will help you kick more investment goals than you can poke a stick at and is the man you must speak to ASAP. So if you feel like your investments require restump, rewire, replumb, give Lucas a call on 08 94881424 or email on lrobinson@euros.com, that's EUROZ.com, for a free financial health check. Because you should always let the cobblers do the cobbling, and as a cobbler, Lucas makes a damn fine investment advisor.
Hello and welcome to episode 24, season 4 of The Purple Rain, brought to you by Euros. Remember, guys, getting those tax return, that extra $1,000 for a lot of us out there. Make sure you get that money. Maybe send it on down Lucas's way and he can turn it into more money. Hey, Oz, St Kilda, 10-12-72. Freo Dockers, 10-9-69. You watched the game on delay?
Oh, mate, what a sensational game. Let me talk about this sensational game. So it started with my son playing sensational tennis. Brilliant game of tennis. He won his first set 4-love. And then I went away, came back. This is the game I'm assuming we're talking about here, the sensational game, the game we really want to talk about. Yeah. And come back and he's limping, mate. He's limping all over the court. You know, he can't get from one ball to the next. So, what's going on here? What's going on? Coach says, he's rolled his ankle at the end of the first. I'm like, okay, well, should be able to battle through it, not a problem. Anyway, loses the second set 4-love because he can't hardly move. I said, right, we need a miracle here. Injury timeout, here we go. Djokovic style, not going through the eye drops that miraculously help him get along. But what we did do was I pulled out the old first aid kit, mate, and I strapped it.
Strapped the ankle.
I strapped. Now, when I took his shoe off, and fair dogs to him, took his shoe off and his sock and had a look at it, yeah, he looked pretty cooked, mate. It was swelling up pretty quickly. And he goes, look, Dad, I don't want to quit. I want to keep going. I said, mate, that's resilience. Yeah. That's resilience right there. I said, mate, I'll do what I can. And then I lied to him. Yeah. So I strapped the bugger out of it, made it real tight, tied up his shoe, all that sort of stuff. And I said to him, mate, this is as structurally sound as this is going to be. And it's about what it was like when you were playing off it. It might hurt a touch. It might not hurt. Yeah. But you're good to go if you want to go. But I said, it's okay if you want to come off. It's all good. And he goes, no, I want to play. Hobbles around in the third set, mate. It's tight. It's 3-all. It comes down to the last point of the tiebreaker. So it's a tiebreaker last point. Throws up his toss. Some numbnut from the other team yells at as he's serving, puts him off his serve, hits it into the net, yelled out, deliberately. I turned to him and said, mate, is that what we're doing with sportsmanship these days? I said, is there a better way that we could do that? And the dad's standing right next to him. Doesn't give me anything. Yeah. Does it, mate? Is that what you're doing with your kid these days? Yeah. Is that what you're doing? Got nothing. Anyway, the coach overheard. She goes, yeah, that's not right. You can't do that. Gave him the first serve back. Bang. Nice. Pops it in. Down the line. Boom. Winner. Bang. Nice. Semi-final, if you don't mind, umpire. Absolutely sensational. It took a while, but that's a positive way to start. And I don't care about the others because it was disgusting. They ended up losing. That's not the point, Duck. The point is that's resilience. That's playing injured. That's playing with heart, and that's, coming from behind to win. I don't care. Get into your thing, mate, because I'm fired up.
Mate, your iPad's down the bottom. You've taken it off the stand. I'm a bit thrown.
I'm at the point where I don't care about life anymore.
Okay, mate.
Except for my kids and
mate,
family.
Just a side note, if we're going by the Duff mark, we'd actually be 9-9-2.
Really?
So 9 wins, 9 losses, and 2 draws. But of course, the Dockers lost by 3 points on the weekend. Look, a couple of good things. I thought Fife was outstanding. Could he win the Brownlow Oz? Maybe.
Yes.
35 disposals, 2 goals won, 2 goal assists, 9 score involvements, 11 inside 50s, and 7 clearances. I thought Bradley Hill played a pretty solid game except for his last kick out of bounds on the full, which made no sense whatsoever. But long day on the line does, but out of bounds on the full doesn't. 27 disposals at 63%, 2 goal assists, 6 inside 50s, 3 rebound 50s. Sandy, I thought, was really great. 32 hit out, 6 clearances as well, and 6 tackles. And Griffin Logue, I thought, played pretty well, mate. Only 10 disposals, but all at 100%, and 9 1%ers, including stopping a couple of goals right at the end, which I thought was pretty outstanding. Into some bad, mate, and a couple of things that I've put down as shit me to tears, mate. Shit me to tear moments. 1. Ed Langdon, I know he got 5 Coaches Association votes. I'm just going to say, mate, if he doesn't put a Shepherd on next week, I may run out of the media box and throttle him. Like, he does literally nothing to help his teammates, and there's a fair few guys in the Dockers team that do that. Now, I would say, Oz, one of the brands of the Dockers in the 13 to 15 era was the fact that they would shepherd, they would block, they'd get hands in the way, they would stop an opponent from getting near their man, but I don't see much of that from the Dockers. Didn't see much of it on the weekend either. Hamling, mate, moves the ball too slowly. Now, I'm going at some big wigs here, mate. Hamling just moves it too slowly. He intercepts marks, and then he literally takes about 4 minutes to get back off the mark. Then he hangs on the ball, he looks one way, looks the other way, looks the other way. Like, mate, I know his kicking skills aren't great, but he's just got to get it and go, and the guys around him got to be able to move and spread. Switkowski can't kick 40 metres. Like, that's a bit of a problem. And has no goal now either. Mundy looks pretty old, and probably I don't want to blame Mundy, but I thought maybe with his leadership, and I put limited leadership at the end. I mean, how you don't get someone back in the hole and you don't have someone in front of Bruce, that's probably going to be pretty important, get someone back there. So one of the older guys maybe work back. Mate, and this guy, Lockie Schultz, mate, mature age pick, 9 touches, 5 critical errors. Mate, I messaged my mates and I was like, I'd nearly leave the bloke in Melbourne, honestly. Like, seriously, he was horrible. He was really bad. And, like, if you're a mature age pick, and that's the same, I think it's the same with Bewley as well. If you're a mature age, Oz, in my opinion, you've got to be coming in the team and staying in the team. You know what I mean? Like, you're shaking your head. You look like you're down and out, mate. But, like, I honestly, I'm like, again, we've lost to North Melbourne. I mean, not North Melbourne. We've lost to Melbourne below us, Gold Coast below us, Carlton below us, St Kilda below us. And we're still technically a chance to make the finals.
No. Can we stop this? I do not want to hear this anymore.
Yeah.
I do not want to hear this anymore, Duck. I don't want to hear that we're a mathematical chance. And I listened to Ross on the SEN chat, and I thought this morning, and I thought it was pretty funny. And he talks well, and he is candid and great. But mate, I don't want to hear about this anymore. Yeah. It's the same story over and over again. We get up, we're a sniff. And then we get disappointed.
Yeah, well, mate, we've actually only won 2 games away from home this year. The Collingwood game and the GWS game. So, look, youngest side, mate, you can make some excuses. 11 guys under 50 games. And I want you to know if you think these guys are going to get any better than what they are currently. Are they going to improve much? Carter's obviously only played 2 games. So he'll get better, I think. Right? You thought,
yeah. Yeah, am I doing the cha-ching here?
Yeah, you can do the cha-ching here. Lockie Schultz, 6 games. Is he getting any better? Banners, 26 games. Is he getting any better?
Ooh.
Crowden, 12 games. Is he getting any better?
Oh, there's still room for him.
Dooman, 22 games. Switkowski, 18 games. Is he getting better? I think he's about where he's at, I think he's about as good as he's going to be. Chera, 39 games. Brayshaw, 37. Darcy, 25. Logue, 21. And Hughes, 48. He's probably about as good as what he's going to be. Yeah, look, but so there is positives, mate, because if we can get improvements out of Dooman, Switkowski, Chera, Brayshaw, Darcy, and Logue, who I think next year will all be in the best 22, I definitely can see us moving forward, mate. Like, I can see us improving. It's just a matter of those guys between the games of 0 and 50, getting more games into them, another season, another preseason under their belt, hopefully no injuries, You know, they've all relatively come through unscathed this year. Logue's had a good... I've been really impressed by Logan. You know, do I still think he was worth the number 8 pick? No, definitely not. But he's a solid player, and he looks like he's going to be good, and he'll be a part of a nucleus in the back six. I think that will really improve moving forward.
Now, just to back you in there, mate, I know that sometimes you can be a little harsh on yourself, but at the time you made the call on Logue, he was injured a lot. We hadn't seen a lot of him. And we saw other guys progressing through at a better rate. So I don't think you could be too harsh on yourself there. I think he's now proven that he can play AFL, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm quite happy to say, you know what? Yeah, he can. Absolutely, you know, so I can see that too. But what my concern with the list at the moment is I still think it's thin.
Like Ross said, it was a thin list.
Yes, it's a very thin list.
You know, mate, we get these guys from 0 to, you know, and even if you look at the list overall in terms of games played, mate, you know, we've got guys like, I think Valenti's got a future ahead of him. Sturt's got a future ahead of him. Tobe Watson seems like he's not bad for a mature ager. O'Reilly, he'll take a few years to develop. North, well, I don't know what's up with North. Meek and Jones, they've probably got a few more years on them. Huge Dicks. Carter, a couple of young guys. I don't know about Bewley. I'm not sure with him and his skills. Gyro did his knee. Will he get any better? His pace is what he's all about. He's quite small. Crowden, yeah. Nyhouse, well, he can't get a game at the moment, so we talked about Switter, Logue, yeah, all these guys. You know, Cox comes back. He's only played 34 games, mate. He's only 20. You know, Luke Ryan, you've got to remember, is only 23. Alex Pearce is 24.
How old's Willow?
Wilson is 26.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've still got a relatively young list, mate. And when we think about, okay, the big thing is, I guess, is that, all right, Fifey's 27. We got 3 more good years of Fifey, I reckon.
This is what concerns
27,
me.
28. Yeah.
What concerns me is we're really, I think, if you look at who we've got guys at the top end. And then we've got guys just starting out.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's the right demographic in terms of a premiership push within the next year or so.
Yeah. Mate, but you see what Brisbane did. You don't know. You don't know where it's going to come or when it's going to come, and you don't...
I hope I'm
wrong.
Like,
I'm
just keeping it real, mate.
We have seen improvement year on year. You take out the 2 outliers. Take out the North Melbourne game.
Yep.
And take out the Eagles game.
Yep.
All right, where we won by 90 and lost by 90.
And we're in a sniff in every game.
Sniff in every game for a start, but also like, you know, just we've been competitive with efforts there. I think Ross has been coaching not too bad.
Yeah, no, I
think
agree.
The team and the outs, I think the big difference is that we managed to be able to get ourselves up at home against better opposition, and away against lesser opposition, we maybe drink our own bathwater again like we did on the weekend. I think we thought we could just rock up and win as well.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was one of the cases.
I don't know.
Because it does become a bit mental. And when you see that in the first quarter, they dominated us. And then I'd say first quarter, they dominated. The next half, quarter 2 and quarter 3, I thought we were well on top. And they got a couple of cheap ones here and there from bad skills. And then the last quarter was a bit of a hand wrestle. I mean, I got bad skills as my ugly, mate.
Well, okay, yeah, because we haven't hit the ugly. I want you to talk about that, and then I'm going to chime in there.
No, I just thought the skills off halfback flank were pretty average.
Yep.
And, you know, like, I guess the thing is as well, like, I did like seeing the ball all in the hands of Connor Blakely. He kicked the ball long, but then again, no talk around him. He still could make mistakes. He made some critical errors. Young Carter made a couple of critical errors, but he's young. He'll learn, you know. But, you know, there's too many guys who have poor foot skills or the foot skills aren't quite there. And it's, again, Oz, you know, we talk about it in the contact hours and what they're doing and, you know, but in the end, we've got to put a priority on skills, and we've got to get some skill-based coaches.
Yes. Now, look, I'm pointing the finger at you. You can't see it there, but you can point it.
Yeah.
Maybe in a YouTube video down the tractor, because we're now on YouTube. Shout out, YouTube. How you going? My issue lies with the skills.
Yeah.
In terms of being able to hit 20, 25-metre targets.
Yeah.
Now, we can talk about structure till the cows come home. And
our structure's great.
And you know,
it actually is good.
But unless you can hit a target on a regular basis, we're always going to be talking about being around the 8, maybe sneaking into the 8, and possibly even at the bottom half of the 8. It's not until the skills improve wholeheartedly that the team collectively gets better. Now, you can't rely on the few to do
The work
most.
of the many?
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, at the moment, we're just not quite there yet. A lot of it is to do with youth and those young guys coming in and making mistakes. I have absolutely no issue with Jason Carter, those two errors towards the end. I have no issue with that whatsoever because he's a young kid and he's got to learn. So I get that. It's good. I understand that. But your seasoned players and your mature age rookies, you got to come in hot.
Yeah, can't make mistakes.
And
I think Oz as well. You got to with footy. There's three distinct areas of football. You got the ball. You don't have the ball. The ball's in dispute. When the ball's in dispute, we're pretty good. Clearances, stoppages, ground balls. We're good at that. When we don't have the ball, we're actually pretty good as well. We structure up pretty well. When we have the ball, however, which is the main component, we're not great. Our skills just aren't there. And, there's got to be a couple of long, hard looks in the mirror, and there's got to be, I would say, a bit of a review in terms of, okay, how do we improve our skills? Because that actually, to me, Oz, that's if we could get our skills up, it only has to be like 15%, 10% improvement in skills. So we make like 10% less critical errors.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say these category 10 errors go down to a category 8 error.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of cat 10s in the weekend as well.
There's cat 11, mate.
Mate,
There's a cat 11.
But if we can reduce the goals from turnovers, which is probably our biggest problem, and I'd love to go back through champion data when we get access to it, mate, and just say, look, where do we get goals scored against us? What is the big thing? Because there's always turnovers back 50. And that kind of got reduced. They have been reduced. We've solved that problem a little bit, but we still haven't solved it completely. We've kind of helped the problem a little bit. We haven't solved it completely. And we're halfway there.
The back line is decimated. I get that. I get that. But again, probably for me, Duck, you talk about when we've got the ball in hand.
Yeah.
The ball, when we're not slingshotting, as in when we don't have that one out over the top, where we look to score easily, and we have to hit a target, like a leading target, that's the Achilles heel.
And I'm really confused by how Cam McCarthy didn't come in the team for Lachie Schultz. And I said it on Thursday's show, and I think you mentioned it as well, maybe Trav Collier. I think Trav Collier would have been a bit more of a shout, but just having a target up forward, just someone that when we get the ball on the break and we lead and take the mark, because it ended up being Fife who became a bit of the target up forward. Mundy was a little bit down, and I thought potentially in the last quarter Mundy could have gone into the back line, like I said before, a little bit of leadership back there. We needed a bit of composure and leadership in the back line. And once, and Ross talked about it on the 3AW, it was SEN, sorry, not 3AW, SEN interview, talking about Alex Pearce. I think we actually underestimate how important Alex Pearce is to the team in terms of leadership. Because there's talk about him being the next captain as well, So you need leaderships on all lines, and looking in that back line, you've got Hamling, who is still actually relatively young. Hamling, he's only 25 or something like that, isn't he? I think he's not the world's oldest bloke. He's only played. Where's Hamling? He's 26. He's played 83 games, so he hasn't even played 100 games yet. Hamling, you know what I mean? But he seems like a seasoned pro. But we just needed a little bit more of a mature head, and that's probably where you were right saying Trav Collier probably could have come in.
Yeah. You
put Trav Collier down the forward line to play that Lachie Schultz role. You can maybe drag Mundy back, but I thought Mundy as well when he went to the midfield was quite good. And, it's just, we need, it was quite funny, the commentator saying Fife is looking for Fife. We actually need another Fife. That's what we really need. But look, hopefully, I think if we lose Brad Hill and Ed Langdon, which is the male at the moment, and it's, bit here, bit there, but one of them's going to go definitely, if not both. I mean, I think, and even Stephen Hill as well, I think we're in a bit of trouble because our outside runners, all of a sudden we go from having two good ones and one that's injury prone at the moment. We go from two to none.
I've got a half solution for this in the listeners' questions because I had a bit of a sneaky peek. But I agree with you, man. It's bunny rock. But the flip side to that is if we can negotiate the position that we're in, 2 years left in the contract.
With Hill.
Look, hands down, Hill stays for me.
Yeah.
I think we need, and don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I understand the nature of AFL, so I don't want to,
Yeah.
But I'd prefer, obviously, to keep him because I love the guy and I think he's great for the club. But if he does go and we happen to get an inside 10 pick and possibly a player, then that opens the door for that the idea of, mate, we've got West Australians knocking at the door. The under-18s Western Australian team is loaded.
Yeah.
And let's not look at Victorians. Let's look at West Australia. I know we've got this best position at,
Yeah, I think as well, but you can't limit your talent pool. I do like the idea of getting Glassy's, nephew, whatever his name, Robertson.
The
and Liam
top
Henry
2 or 3 for me are good enough to draft in the top 10.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But, you know what I mean? You can't... Let's say for some miracle we got a Maverick Lockie Weller deal where we got pick 2.
Oh.
Now, we're not going to pick, in the top 6 or 7, there isn't any WA guys. So you're not going to pick a WA guy, You just go to Victoria where it seems like they've got these really good players.
No, see, I disagree there. I think we trade down.
Trade down and get more picks.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the worst idea. It's not the worst.
And you know why? Because we have this, like you said before, people get this, they get homesick. Yeah. It's a grown man thing.
Every grown man in October gets homesick. That's what we realised. Mick Moldhouse is pretty adamant on that. That's a waste of time. Anyway, let's go to break, guys. When we come back, we've got Peel Talk and AFL Coaches Association votes.
Come on. Come on, Duck. Have you ever had problems with computers, mate? Look.
Every day of my life, mate, is a problem with the computer.
Well, you know what, mate? I've got a solution for you, buddy. Just Make It Work will take care of all your IT problems and help you use technology to reach more people, make more money and waste less time. You can relax knowing you're in the hands of real Dockers supporters. Get on to jmiw.it. Call or email and mention the Purple Rain for 20% off your first project with Just Make It Work, Duck. I suggest you get around it.
Welcome back to episode 24, season 4 of the Purple Rain, brought to you by Euros and Just Make It Work. Now, I was off air. We're just having a quick chat about the talent pool of the Dockers and the age profile. Now, you were saying that potentially our top end's good.
Yes.
And then we have a couple middle, and then our bottom end trails off a bit. That's what Ross maybe meant by the thin list.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So I've had a look at some data that's been sent to me before, and about premiership teams and the window of hitting a prelim and the age profile of players and all that sort of stuff. And looking at what we have at the moment, in theory, we're actually not too far off the mark in an age profile, but the talent isn't necessarily matching the age profile per se.
Yeah.
So, and that's just being realistic. So it's not saying that the effort's not there, because the effort's fantastic. But as we found out, at the pointy end of the season, you need the talent as well as the effort.
Yeah, effort can only get you so far.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and we think about it the other day when we got belted by Western Bulldogs. I said, look, these guys, we got Walters and Fife, who are the A graders, and Walters actually had a bit of a quiet one on the weekend. Lob, Hamling, Hill, Pearce, Ryan, Blakely, and Brayshaw maybe B graders, and then from there it's C all the way down. I mean, even you could chuck Hogan across, and Wilson, he's a bit touch and go, but realistically,
assuming he was injured, when he's at his best, he's at his best.
Yeah, and the problem is our injuries have been problems. I mean, Ross did allude that there's a lot of impact injuries, a lot of foot problems, however.
Foot rot.
A bit of foot rot, mate. A bit of old foot rot flax. But look, it's just tough, man. We got to keep soldiering on. If we're lucky with injuries, that's the thing, is it takes a lot to win a flag, and one of the things is you got to be lucky. and we've got to be super lucky. So hopefully, thoughts and prayers and touch and wood, mate, that next year is the year for us in terms of our injury luck. And especially, considering we went from rags to riches in the tall socks and then backs to rags. You know what I mean? Like, if you said at the end of this year, if you're like, Sean Darcy's going to be our tall forward, I would have been like, what?
Well, yeah.
Like, can you just imagine that? Like, at the start of this year, we played a game with Lob, Hogan, Tabernar. We had Cox waiting in the wings. So we've got 4 guys there ready to go, And then you're like, oh, maybe Huge Dicks will come on a bit. So there's your 5th guy.
Yeah.
And then in the end, you're playing Sean Darcy as your full forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that to me is like the challenge and the thought process. And when you think about, say, how St Kilda had Bruce and they got McCartan and they've had Membry and stuff like that. But anyway, mate, AFL's Coaches Association votes just nice and quickly. Fife got the 10, Langdon 5, Hannelbury 4, Stevens 4, Billings 3, Ross 2, and Clark 2. Peel talk.
The mighty Peel Thunder unfortunately went down to the South Freo Bulldogs. 11-16-82 to Peel 6-6-42. Not a lot of scoring from the Peel end, baby. Let's have a look at the stats. And if we're having, I guess, an analysis of those who are playing well on the Freo list, the first player that licks the lips in terms of posies is your man Brett Bewley, who had 20 posies. He had 3 inside 50s. So fairly solid from him. Sam Sturt, who's been touted as being possibly the next in, only with the 9 posies. So a bit quiet for him on the day. He managed to get 4 tackles, though, which is pretty good. My man, Hugh Dixon, had a bit of a cracker. And I'm only saying that because I want him in the side. But his stats don't back up what I've just said. So he's had 10 disposals. He's had 2 marks, 3 hit-outs, 3 inside 50s. You would say that's fairly quiet. And then I go to the other guy I'd love to see in Duck, and I don't hide behind this. That's Tom North. Now, Tom North had 17 disposals or 17 posies. He had 6 tackles. Now, 6 tackles, surely that's a prerequisite, isn't it? Tackles.
They love a good bit of effort. It's interesting
mate.
with the
still going here, mate. Still going.
Sorry, mate. Yeah. Sorry.
And in terms of goals, these are the guys that kick the goals for Peel. That would be Ugle, Howlett, and Lockie Cullen. None of which are on the Freo list.
No Dockers kicked the goal. Ball has 2 points, and we've got a question about Ballas coming up because listeners' questions is right now, mate. Starting with me.
Go.
Palo de Galos. Last weekend was the first AFL game in recorded history where the umpires' favours actually caught us.
Yes.
They've thought that we got a couple of bonus ones. Sandy was again pretty good. Does he go around for another year? Can we continue to have the game plan that relies on Fife doing the work of 10 men? So firstly, umpires calling going our way?
Mate, well, the duck theory was in play. We had
one of the KPIs.
We had 2 of the KPIs. Fife was having BOG.
Yep.
We had the umpires' calls going with us. And then
I think we actually ended up behind in the free kick count part.
Did we?
Which is quite interesting, yeah.
Oh, there was a patch there where we were just getting free kicks in interesting positions.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so I umpired on the weekend, right? And I umpired with this bloke, Wazza, I think his name was, from Wembley. And the whole thing with umpiring when you get to, I'm umpiring thirds, right? So it's like nothing. But I was umpiring a little bit differently to him. So I was calling some things a little bit differently to him. I was a little bit less hot on some things that he was. At an AFL level, you've got to work as a team, I think. And I thought that one of the umpires in particular was calling a lot of soft free kicks, and 2 of them weren't calling many soft free kicks. And it was just a little bit hard to judge. And I think it's a bit hard like that when that's the case. In terms of Sandy.
What's the next one?
Pretty good. Go around again.
I think he needs to go around again.
Yeah. And
and on that, sorry to go on with this one. One, that's not recency bias because he's been injured, and I'm aware that he's been injured for a while. Yeah. So if I take recency bias out of it, when he's been up and about, he's actually been good and serviceable.
Yeah, he's really good.
So
he's a great ruckman. You just forget that.
Why would we? And I know you talk about being progression stoppers, but look, if we are a sniff, we got to make that call. Are we a sniff for next year?
Yeah.
And if we are, do we want our best ruckman currently?
Is it that bad? Okay, to play Sandy every home game. Just play him at home. He doesn't get on the bird.
Well, that's the big dog from Brisbane.
Yeah, Roger Merritt.
Yeah.
Roger Merritt?
No.
Maybe even a bit like Clark Keating.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Just
Clark Keating.
Run him out within the last second half of the season.
Just turned up for the finals, mate. Never heard of him throughout the season.
And Fife, game plan, the work of 10. He's one of the KPIs
mate.
for us to win.
Absolutely. This is me. Now, I'm going to read this one that you put at the top.
Read that one up the top.
This is from Jake Pizzuto. How dockery is it that Jack Stevens and Dan Hanbury both return and dominate?
Oh, mate, it just like killed to say. Like, how, who is a better team to play against than to get a run in your legs than the Dockers, mate?
It's usually forwards.
Yeah.
Like, if you're an out-of-form forward.
Or like a big man who's pretty average.
Do you think,
all of a sudden.
Do you think Freo have that gift? Do you know how some teams just turn up and play they're just the most inspired brand of footy?
Mm.
Not all the time, but I
think some people rock up and they're like, I've got the wood over these guys. Like, I don't care what they go.
Yeah.
Mate, this one's from Tim Fry. It's a couple-part question.
Oh, here we go.
Sturt has to play versus Bombers, will he?
Yes.
In hindsight, don't get Hogan. Keep the early pick. Take a king. A fit key forward for 10 years. Which leads me to into what we should do with the early picks coming from E.G. Brad Hill.
Yes.
Trade or draft is the question.
Okay, going back to
no more average WA boys, please.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. Okay, so going back to your original question, the king part, if we draft him, he goes home. That was well known throughout recruiters that they just want to play in the Eastern States, so that he wouldn't have lasted past probably an extension, I would say. So Hogan's the risk that you need to take, in my opinion.
Yep.
He's too good. So, and plus, he's a WA boy. The next part to that is, what do we do if, again, he's not gone yet. He's got 2 years left in his contract. And look, in all honesty, if he's saying that he wants to stay and he stays, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to trade him. But if he happens to go and if we get an inside offer on a pick inside the top 10, you got to look at taking it.
Yeah.
And what do we do with that? Unless there is a absolute standout Eastern States player that is we're not talking about a project. We're talking about an absolute.
Tim Kelly?
Yes. Sorry. What I'm saying is, if there's an absolute,
as in for the draft.
For the draft.
Yeah.
Then I think we look to trade back.
Yeah.
And then we use those picks and have, like, I know that Norton wasn't necessarily going to be in the top, 5, whatever, but look what he's become.
Yeah. You redo that draft, he's going in the top 5 every day.
That's what I'm saying, brother. That's what I'm saying.
Mate, the last part of this question is something that I've spoken about, but I love your thoughts. Switter really like him, but he can't kick more than 40 metres. Goal kicking was poor on the weekend. What is his future?
That's a tough question. I love Switter's pressure. Switter's pressure is elite.
Yeah.
But if you're a small forward, you got to kick goals.
Yeah.
When he marked it inside, this is the weird thing. I don't really know Switter's games past what I've seen thus far. I don't really think. But as soon as he marked it, I thought, he's not going to kick this. He can't make the distance.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's because is he sore or is he legit can't kick past 40.
I think that's his range. He's like a small guy. Right. He can't kick past 40.
If you're gonna, do you start being ruthless? Now, on a side note, I watched the first episode of Hard Knocks with the Raiders.
Oh,
it was
John Gruden.
You just type in Hard Knocks Raiders, and it was actually on free to air. It was on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on
high
YouTube,
def. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And Ronald Ollie or whatever he was from Last Chance U was picked up as a undrafted rookie.
Yeah.
And he goes in and unfortunately couldn't cut the mustard in the first training session or so, rolled up late, was injured, didn't want to really train. Gruden goes, "Are we in the profession here playing football or what?" Cuts him. Cuts him. Like, ruthless. We've got to be a ruthless football club. Like, I don't know how that would come about, but if you're going to be a small forward, you got to be able to kick 40-metre goals.
Yeah.
Got to. If you want to win a premiership, mate, you got to do it.
All right, you're up next, mate.
And that's not to say you can't develop it. I'm just saying you've got to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Robert Palladino, where do you see the following player next year? Or playing next year, sorry. Hill Brothers, 1. Sanderlands, 2. Retire or not. 3. Ballas. I read he doesn't want to retire, so can you see any other clubs taking him? Possibly. And 4. Langdon.
I see Langdon. I'm going to say Langdon. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to Collingwood.
I've heard Melbourne.
I know Melbourne are probably keen for him. Hill Brothers, Stephen not at the club. Bradley hopefully at the club. Sanderlands to retire or not. I hope he doesn't retire. I hope he becomes the old school player coach. Ballas, well, we may have seen the last of Ballas. It was so funny. I was talking to my old man. Shout out to Frankie.
Frankie.
My old man at the age of 61 is leaving the country for the first time tomorrow.
Oh, where's he going?
And they're going to Bali, sorry.
Oh, baby.
So, very, very interesting
Careful
times.
of the
Mum's
drinking
only
water.
left the country once. She went to England and I chaperoned her to go visit my brother. Mate, it's crazy. But, mate, I can't remember what my point was. He said to me about Ballas, he's like, Ballas says he could go on for 2 more years. He goes, 2 years ago, Ballas couldn't go on for 2 more years.
Mm.
You look at Ballas' goal tally, and I know as a small forward on a team that's not doing well, he's never going to be great. But he has progressively just got worse and worse and worse.
Here's a question. Can he still kick a goal 40 metres out? I think he can.
He'd be on the
I still think he can.
All right, mate. Next
you,
one is for me. And this is a good one. I'll get this one from David Brown. Send-off game for Ballas or more game time for Schultz and Switter?
If you're doing a send-off game for Ballas, you might want to have a conversation with him first that he ain't playing next year. I think there is a little bit, for me, there's a little bit of disrespect going on that we're already calling it a farewell game for Ballas, and I don't think he's been told that it's a DCM.
Mate,
I know you can do the reading on the wall and all that sort of stuff, but
he's playing waffle, bro. He's been dropped twice this year.
But do you think the club has actually said to him, mate,
he got no contract at the end of this year, bro. Yeah. It's over.
Well, in that case, then, if you play him and you say, mate, this is your farewell game, expect Ballas to go absolutely mental.
Ballas, 170 games, 32 years old.
Mate, I tell you, if he gets a game this week, he'll be close to BOG.
You reckon?
Oh, yeah, he'll go out firing,
I like
mate.
that, mate.
Was there any other part of the question? Was that it?
No, that's it.
Okay. Brian Mitchell. I watched Peel versus South last weekend and thought how our Freo listed boys played with no great skill or heart. I then look at Hayden Schleith and wonder why Freo delisted him and why he isn't on an AFL list. What are your thoughts, Duck?
Mate, this is my favourite thing. Now, I'm going back to Frankie here. South Fremantle played, I've forgotten who it was, and it was on Channel 7, and South Fremantle playing in their lovely red and white. Hayden Schleith playing in the white long sleeve, mate. Everyone's got dirt all over him, mate. His was a pristine white top. Now, Hayden Schleith, unfortunately, in my opinion, is an accumulator. However, it's not just the Dockers that don't want him. There's 17 other clubs that don't like him either. Skills, not elite. Can accumulate, yes, that's fine. Speed, not elite. Can accumulate, that's fine. Sound a bit like Mickey Barlow is now. But, I mean, he's not in and under. He's not getting that grunt. I think the Dockers really missed a trick with their mature age recruiting, not looking in WA, not looking in their own backyard. When you look at the likes of Sydney Stack, how he would have gone for Dockers. Now, maybe that's a situation where Stack needed to leave the state and just get away. But even Marlon Pickett, mate, sitting there at South Fremantle. Tim Kelly, we could have got him. I know everyone's got a PhD in hindsight, but I'm going over these things. You know, like guys like that who are playing at South Fremantle, training at the same ground that we trained at for a couple of years. There's no one going in anyone else's ear.
Yeah, different training time, mate. Different
there
training
ain't
time.
nobody there at the club.
No crossover, bud.
No
and
crossover. Is there no one at Peel who's just like, mate, like, we got to look at this bloke who we played against. He killed us. Like, this guy is good. You know, is there no one there?
Do you reckon there's a bit of... No, surely there wouldn't be any trepidation with the idea of talking about opposition players being better than the players that we have? Surely not. Of course. You should be able to do that.
And, like, do we not look at... I mean, Subiaco, mate.
Yeah.
They just keep doing well.
Yeah.
Like, is there no one at Subiaco that we can have a look at as well? If
know-
we're looking at mature
You know who
age
would I would have
players.
been looking at?
What's
Jared
that?
Schofield.
Oh, to come in, Scoey.
Yeah, just as an assistant.
Yeah.
Just as an assistant.
I feel like Scoey would be very similar to Ross, but
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with the same message going out, is it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Who knows?
Mate, next one for you.
Yeah.
Tom and Ketchup. How come you guys aren't allowed to cheer in the press box, but the VFL commentators can do it live on TV?
Mate, start me. Because the commentators... Look, listening to Eddie Maguire is like slowly taking out an eyeball with a blunt instrument.
Nice. I was like, mate, he's cheering on the Saints.
Yes.
However,
Yes.
I think that Eddie actually just cheers on goals.
Football. Yeah, goals.
He
yeah.
loves goals.
He
And
does.
it's like, man.
Yeah.
But they brought up a couple of things that were very Collingwood based. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Anyway, mate, you're up.
Not ideal, mate. Jordan Grilisic, interview with Ross this morning on SEN, where he opens up a lot more than usual, probably because it's non-WA media. Had me eating out of his hand again. Mentioned we have a thin list. To get over Geelong and go close to St Kilda with the team we put out there is a decent effort. Inexperience brings inconsistency, so to expect a repeat of the Geelong effort is probably asking too much. I'm of the opinion we are tracking all right, considering how vital our injuries are.
Yeah, I listened to it as well, Jordan. Thank you very much for posting it, mate.
I loved it.
That was great.
I loved the interview.
Yeah, I ended up. I already had the podcast saved, but I was not subscribed to it. That particular podcast because I like listen. Mike Lombardi's been on it a couple of times.
Can I ask this question to you,
Yeah.
Duck, before you answer the rest of it? Were you surprised when they asked him the question, what's your relationship with the WA media? And he goes, none.
No.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Did he say non-existent?
That mate, did you see him in the presser bake that poor WA?
Oh, mate.
So he goes, "What newspaper are you from?" He's like, "I'm from the West Australian." He's like, "Oh, you're trying to get some facts." Just absolutely great. But I mean, like, as if you wouldn't. I mean, the West Australian put a picture of him as the Riddler.
Yeah.
It's front page, back page every couple of days,
Yeah.
mate. Like,
There's
we were up there in the media box. They were not happy when they won the game against Geelong because people had already written the sack Ross articles.
Mm.
You know, and they were filthy at it. He made them do more work. I mean, I don't know what they expect. But I think as well, the journalists that watch the Dockers, all right, you've got to think of it like this. Watching the Dockers is actually a pretty hard thing to do if you're not a Dockers fan.
Supporter, yeah.
So these guys get paid to watch the Dockers. They watch the Eagles and they're like, this is actually nice football to watch and this is good. They watch the Dockers and they're like, this is a grind. It's a gutter game. Skills are average. You know, the players are playing on effort only. You know what I mean? Like, not effort only, but they're effort-based, things like that. So they're like, obviously they appreciate the Eagles games more than the Dockers games. And then because of that, they have a discontent towards Ross. Wouldn't you say?
Yep.
Interesting. I mean, I don't think Ross is going anywhere. I think there's a lot of clubs, like even old mate Brendan Goddard yesterday on the grandstand was like, the only coach that could change this club, if you were to bring in a coach, Ross Lyon, bring him into Essendon and he would turn this club around. And it makes me think, Goddard, why didn't you bloody come to Dockers, man?
Yeah.
We would have won a flag if you came.
That's true.
Can you imagine him on the halfback flank or in the middle?
Ugh.
Man, idiot.
Ugh.
Goddamn Goddard. All right, next one. Ben Green. Doing out Sandy and Bella's retirement this week, and make Saturday evening a send-off? Or does Sandy go around one more year?
Yeah, answered this one before. So Sandy, one more year. Bella's, I think, probably time. It sounds a little disrespectful for me to call someone's career, but I think the writing's on the wall there, maybe, Duck.
Yep. I don't think you're too wrong there, mate.
And you know what I would love, though? I mean, if Sandy was able to take half the marks, like if he was just able to take a few more marks,
Mate,
he would be...
He gets scragged.
Unbelievable!
If he got the free kicks he deserved as well.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, but
chopping
they're just
the tree
like,
every time.
Yeah.
Chopping the tree every
chopping
time.
the tree down.
Mate, every
well, no
time.
one can hit the ball. They're chopping his arms.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're right, mate.
Ferg Inglis. Now that we're past the possibility of playing finals, which debutants would you like to see in the last couple of games? And Who do you think might be playing elsewhere in 2019 besides the Hill brothers, Langdon, and etc.?
I don't think we can, because Kirsten and Bennell come off the list. I actually don't think we can get rid of, let's say, for example, we lose 2 of those 3. I don't think we can actually get rid of too many more.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's not a fire sale, brothers.
Yeah.
I mean,
We've
hello.
got to keep people on the list, but I think guys like...
Brothers and sisters,
I
sorry. We
need
have
to
sisters
know
listening
who's
to
in
the
the
rain.
last,
My apologies.
The last year of their contract.
Well, contracts apparently don't mean anything these days, mate.
Anyway. Look, new guys to come in. Sturt, would like to see him play.
Yep.
Just see how he is. He's quite a skinny guy, and he's had some concussion problems, but it'd be nice to see
3
how he
guys,
goes.
mate.
Sturt,
huge dicks.
Northie.
Tom North.
Maybe Tobe Watson as well.
Yeah.
I
don't mind that.
don't know if he played on the weekend, but Tobe Watson would be interesting. Jack Hall. Hey, boys, given Langdon is more likely to ask for a trade, can you see Nathan Wilson filling a role on the wing? He's got natural attributes. He's quick and damaging by foot. Cheers, Docker-sign.
Originally, I would have said no because I'd like to see Logue on the wing, but I like the look of Logue down back. A couple of those saving punches through, athleticism, quick off the mark, can recover quickly, got a nice kick on him. So I think he's not settled back there, but I think he's looking pretty damn good.
What would your thoughts be on a backline of Ryan,Alex Pearce, Logue,
Yep.
Hamling, Dooman, and Hughes
Yes. Yeah.
as the back 6, maybe?
And that leads Wilson on the wing.
Wilson on
because
the wing, maybe.
Wilson.
Or even Chair or Blakely playing the halfback
Can you
flank on
just
the wing.
imagine Wilson tearing it up along that wing and then that raking kick inside?
And maybe being a little bit defensive as well. The old wingman, mate.
Mate.
Why do wingmen get so many touches? Because they're playing on other wingmen. There you go, mate. That's one
Mate, do you reckon he could win a Brownlow off the wing?
for you. Oh, come on, mate. It's not Matthew Richardson.
No, I'm just saying. Just putting it out there. Robert Forsyth, good. We're in with a sniff. Bad. Too many turnovers. Ugly. Out of bounds on the full. Goal for them. And me swearing at Foxtel. Then my missus saying, calm down, you nutcase. Frowny emoji. All of this with about 3 minutes to go. Sorry, guys, but we clearly blew our chances with not just skill errors. Was it inability? Our simply half a dozen just not up to AFL standard?
Look, I think there's a couple of young guys, but I do like that. I'd have to say that my missus was trying to film me going nuts, and I was, fair to say, I wasn't too pleased. But, mate, that's the life and times, mate. And I was, mate, how were you, Oz? Were you a bit angry after, at the end?
I'll go through my 7 stages of grief
Oh,
again. But look, shout out to Footy and
ropeable at the end of
Benji who
the
came over. Little bit of a catch up, but Uber-eated, what do you call it? Grilled.
Oh, good,
So that actually made it not so bad,
yeah.
as did the makers.
Mate, last one. Rosie Carrington-Jones. Mundy was holding the ball, grabbed by the jumper, not the man. What did you take of that call? You know when he swung around 360 by the jumper?
Yeah, this
I was like,
a
that's
debate.
clearly not holding the ball.
So this was a debate, divided us half. One was, well, he went around 360. He had the tackle.
Have control of him.
But he had a fistful of jumper. Now, my take on it is, well, he's easily able to dispose of it.
Yeah.
I think Mundy actually controls the spin and uses it to his advantage to get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
So for me, that's not holding the ball.
I didn't think it was holding the ball either.
But by the letter of the law, he's in a tackle, mate. 360, that's holding the ball. According to the... I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying according to
I didn't think that was a tackle. It was like he was just grabbing onto him, mate. Well, you can hardly constitute that as a tackle in this day and age. Anyway, guys, nice short one. How long was that? 40 minutes?
I still got these one, mate. What are you talking about?
No, we just went through those, you idiot. You read that half, I read that half.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, good.
Mate, we don't have 22 questions. We only had 11 this week. Hey, Oz, how long was that? 40 minutes?
49 minutes coming up right
nice
now,
short
mate.
one. Hey, guys, get around the retro round. We'll be up retro style. Maybe we can broadcast an old style radio show for retro round Purple Patch, mate.
I like this.
Yeah.
You know what I like the idea of doing? A live pod, either via Facebook or YouTube, and just see the look on our faces when we're trying to get fired up.
The pointing and stuff like that.
Pointing.
Anyway, guys, remember, subscribe, rate, and view at Purple Rain 95. We're now on YouTube as well, so subscribe. Now, Oz, the video went down or something like that?
No,
went
it's up.
Went down.
It's
back
up.
up.
Yeah, so basically we've got a system now. Whenever we record a pod, put it up, it automatically transfers over to.
Nice. We've just got to do that for Spotify for next year.
Yes.
I've put that on the back burner. Anyway, that was my job that I don't do. Anyway, guys, just get around us. Next year will be the year.
Yeah.
Guys. I feel it. Big off season and
excited again for the off season acquisitions,
October,
mate.
What's it? November, our favourite time of the year, mate.
And look forward to the Thursday pod, mate. We'll be up and about by then.
Patch, mate. Essendon are a busted ass team, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope we flog Essendon. We should get sacked, that dog.
No, mate.
All right. See you guys.